And let's kick things off by doing a little bit of a snake draft, talking about some of the most shocking title changes in the history of professional wrestling. I mean, there's always going to be a bit of a recency bias with this type of stuff, but I am going to kick it off. And I'm going to kick it off with David Arquette winning the WCW World Heavyweight Championship. I mean, Clark, you were watching WCW at the time. This was nuts.
Yeah, what in the wide world of sports were we thinking on this one? That was Bizarro World, to say the very least. No doubt about it. One of the funkiest moments in wrestling history. I will say, though, the movie was fun. Ready to Rumble. Check it out.
I haven't seen it.
90s classic. It's really
take
funny.
your word for it.
As the elder statesman of this, it's really funny. It's corny as could be, though. Strap in, like, watch it late at night. Definitely don't watch it when you're like trying to watch a serious film.
I'll have to check it out at some point, but it is basically for younger viewers like when if Travis Scott won the WWE Championship just randomly on an episode of WWE Speed, because it wasn't even on Nitro, it was on Thunder. I mean, I guess SmackDown, but Thunder wasn't even that level. It was nowhere near even. But Takes, you're up next. What are you picking?
Well, I'm going to go something a bit more recent because, as you said, as the elder statesman, Clark, I don't really know about the David Arquette title change. So I'm going to go for 2009 TLC, Sheamus defeating John Cena for the WWE Championship.
That is a good one, by the way. I
had
that in my notes, too. That is a really
I've got
good
quite a few. And I was just thinking, Sheamus had only been on the roster for like a few months, hadn't he? So to win the world title against the guy was a real shock, in my opinion.
It undoubtedly was. I remember back in the day, my parents wouldn't let me buy pay-per-views, right? So what I'd do is I'd go on WWE.com and look at the results after it happened. And I was
you have to like hit refresh?
Yeah, literally.
That's got to be a glitch.
It's got to be. I mean, it was just my jaw just hit the floor when I saw that. But a fantastic shout, no doubt about it. And yeah, you're right. He was only on the roster for a few months, was in ECW for a little bit before that, but not very long. Suddenly became the guy defeating the guy, John Cena. But Clark, you're up next. Who are you picking?
I'm going to dive into a bit of history. November 26, 1994, Madison Square Garden in a house show. Untelevised. Diesel, otherwise known as Kevin Nash, defeats Bob Backlund in about a minute with a jackknife powerbomb to win the WWF title. I mean, it doesn't get any more shocking than that.
And it was like 2 days after he won it, too. He had it for like 48 hours and just dropped it in a house show.
Backlund beats Bret Hart on television and or pay-per-view.
Yeah.
And Diesel, aka Kevin Nash, beats Backlund for the title at a house show. They just released it in the magazine and like set it on Raw and showed pictures of him holding the belt. They didn't show like a highlight of the match. They just showed on Raw like a picture of Diesel celebrating.
Yeah.
They were like, look crazy what happened when nobody was watching.
They used to do that all the time. They used to just like show highlights from house shows on Raw to like continue a storyline. But this was a bit of a big one. Their world championship changed twice. If you couldn't pay for that pay-per-view and you just watched Monday Night Raw to Monday Night Raw, I mean, you wouldn't know. The internet didn't exist back then. There would have been 2 title changes you didn't know about.
It's fascinating to me that was I mean, the fact that Bob Backlund in 1994 held the title is even crazier because he wasn't even really that over in the 80s. Crossface chicken wing, though, heck of a finisher.
I didn't even realize that Bob Backlund was champion in the 90s. I've never heard of any of this.
Yeah.
He was like 45.
Wow. He beat Bret Hart with the crossface chicken wing.
Wow. I've never heard of any of this. I can't lie. I mean, I guess I'm a bit too young for it, but yeah.
This is Doink the Clown era. Trust me, Dix, you didn't miss much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was not much. Great. There's some good stuff. There's a ladder match with Shawn and Brett. I would say you should check out some Razor Ramon work. That was solid. But other than that, you can take it or leave it, I would say.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, and numero one's putting a couple in there, and so is Bobby Petito. Bobby saying Willow Nightingale winning the New Japan Strong Women's Championship, defeating Mercedes Moné. That actually is a great shout. Nobody expected Mercedes actually lose that match. That's a great one. But up next, Clark, you're back up again. It's a snake draft.
Well, I hate to do this to one of my all-time favorites, Kevin Nash, but he's involved in both of my first two picks because I'm going with the finger poke of doom. After Kevin Nash finally defeats Goldberg, which arguably should have been a pick here, potentially, via cattle prod from Scott Hall, they made the executive decision. You got Red and Black, the hottest they ever were, the Wolfpack, the cool version of the NWO. One-on-one with Hogan, Nash and Hogan. Nash is the biggest babyface he's ever been at the time because he was a tweener even in the Goldberg match. And they went finger poke of doom and gave him a black and white t-shirt. What?
I was just going to say, I wasn't watching at the time, but
was that do this?
Was that the moment where WCW started to go downhill, was it? That's, as far as I know, that was the case, right?
I would say it was still okay.
Yeah.
I still go back to, Sting at Starrcade's pretty, like, you can't. It's pretty unforgivable. Like,
Is that the one with the wrong count?
So it was supposed to be a fast count, and then it was just a count. And he got pinned. Yeah. And then it was like Bret Hart came out and was like, restart the match. And it was like, why does Bret get to say that? He doesn't even hardly work here. And why isn't he wrestling? And why is Sting doing the sharpshooter?
It was done. There's no doubt about that. What a great pick.
It was the worst booked match. And it was the classic Hogan, that doesn't work for me, brother, scenario.
It certainly did not work for him or work for the audience either. Takes, what are you taking up next?
Well, once again, it's something a bit more recent, and it's going to be Alberto Del Rio ending the John Cena United States title open challenge alongside Zeb Coulter, which was just a shocking moment to me as a kid. I never expected to see Del Rio alongside Zeb, especially after WrestleMania 29 when he had that big feud against Jack Swagger for the world title as well.
I mean, that is actually a hell of a take, and another one where, I didn't see it coming either, so definitely a good shout. And there's a few comments, I believe, actually mentioning that one earlier. Let me find it now. Here it is. Fiend W6 is Jack Swagger and Alberto Del Rio. But I actually just realized that comment was also saying you were glazing them. But numero one says, wait, do you know who was the most dominant champion in WCW? Vacant, the greatest champion of all time to have won the title so many times after so many people vacated the belt. Not a bad one there.
Vacant was rock solid.
And we've got Ant you in the chat as well. Shout out to you. We have a big announcement coming actually very soon about Ant you in the next couple of days. But up next, I am back up and I am going to pick the one which was 8 years ago to this day. It is the reason why we are doing this segment. Jinder Mahal Backlash 2017. Nobody, and I mean nobody, expected him to win this match. The IWC, I've still not seen anything like it since. There was memes, there was fury, it was unexplainable. Nobody was really happy, but everybody was just, shocked is the perfect word. It was wild. I don't know if either of you guys, because I know, Clark, you were kind of like away from wrestling at this time. I don't know if Takes you were watching then.
I wasn't watching at the time either, no, but it's kind of crazy to me because I stopped watching around about 2015, around about the time of the three-man band. And to think that Jinder Mahal was the first member to win a world title before Drew McIntyre is just absolutely crazy to me.
It was nuts. And what's even crazier about it was the reports at the time were that WWE, and it was, for the most part true, were bringing back former released stars to bring them back as jobbers because of the brand split. They needed more names because they just brought back the brand split. They brought back Rhino, Heath Slater, and quite a few others as well. And Jinder Mahal just randomly won a six-pack challenge, faced Randy Orton, and then shockingly won. It was so bizarre. Bobby Petito throws another name in the mix. Dominic Mysterio winning the NXT North American Championship. Great shout. Numero one says Jinder Mahal was the only guy to have gone from jobber to main eventer in just 1 month. I mean, I don't think you can find any other examples of that. But I'm back up again now because it is a snake draft. And I'm actually going to go for what many historians consider to be the biggest, the most shocking title change in history of this business, because it was when Bruno Sammartino's 8-year WWF Championship reign was ended by Ivan Koloff in 1971. There was people crying in the crowd. Nobody, and I mean nobody again, saw it coming. I mean, this was before any of us were watching, but I mean, if you were watching during that time and you were there for it when he'd been, champion for most people's entire fandom, I mean, it's nuts.
Yeah, an 8-year reign is crazy, isn't it?
It's nuts.
Wild.
Wildly booked.
Roman
Wildly
Reigns
booked. Pure
times
history.
like 2.5. Way too crazy. And then to just drop it randomly as well. Nuts. But up next takes your up. What are you taking?
This is a bit of a strange one, actually. I don't think anyone will have this on their list, but it's Vince McMahon defeating Bobby Lashley for the ECW title at Backlash 2007.
That's really well done.
Just even saying that out loud is just wild. I mean, it was a handicap match, I think, but Vince McMahon beating Bobby Lashley, it just doesn't add up, really, does it?
No, it doesn't. That is crazy. I mean, C McKenna 816 likes that shout, and so does Arski Twitch as well. And Sober Mask V3 says such an iconic run that.
It was a good run, to be fair, with Do-Rag Vince. A crazy old time to be watching wrestling.
It was. I mean, I will say this. It wasn't a title change, but if it was, Vince pinning God, I think, might be the biggest upset in the history of pro wrestling.
Was that Shawn Michaels and God versus the McMahons?
Shawn Michaels and God versus the McMahons, and Vince pinned God.
Wow.
That's something we did.
What was going on in 2007?
That actually happened. What was he doing getting involved in these matches?
Vince McMahon booked himself to go over God. I mean, I think that tells you all you need to know about Vince's mentality.
That's not a narcissist. I don't know what it is.
Wild. Up next, Clark, you're up. What are you taking?
I am gonna go with this is actually a way big throwback, but I just wanted to get it on the list because he doesn't get enough credit. But in 2004 at Taboo Tuesday, Shelton Benjamin totally won the vote for the Intercontinental title match against Chris Jericho. And they did not want Shelton to win that vote. The company had entirely different plans. And then they got out there and Jericho like twisted his ankle or something and changed the finish on the fly. And Shelton Benjamin won his first IC title via T-bone suplex. And it was not the plan. And no one ever talks about it. And Hulk Hogan still calls him Benjamin Shelton. But it is one of the, if you go back and do the research, 04 Taboo Tuesday, Benjamin defeats Jericho was a comedy of errors to get there.
That must be a nightmare as a booker, though, too, because, it's not gone the way you expected the vote, but you're like, well, we'll just have them go out there and, the champ wins, and then they're forced to do a title change, and you're like, shoot.
If you go back and watch the highlight, it took them like the longest you've ever heard to play Shelton's music when he won, because they obviously had to flip the finish on the fly. So it's like so awkward. The referee's already holding his hands in the air before they hit the finish.
Sebi Lad is saying they need to bring that pay-per-view back. They do. I mean, apparently it wasn't rigged, but I still struggle to believe it to this day that was real.
No, it's
Clark,
so funny.
Clark, do you know that vote where Shelton won? Was that supposed to be Dave Bautista that won? Am I correct in saying that? Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. That was the plan.
Kind of crazy how Shelton got voted more than Batista, because Batista at that time as well was an up and coming star, wasn't he?
Yep, 37%. And it was like the same thing happened with Edge and Shawn Michaels. And there was no title change in that match, but Edge was going to win the title for the first time. Had he won the vote as a babyface before he was rated R superstar, Shawn won the vote and ended up losing.
Against who?
Wow.
I believe it was. Was
that 2004?
Yeah, so it would have been. It was
either
04.
JBL.
It would have been.
I have no idea.
No, this would have been 05, I think, actually. 04 was the Shelton one. I think 05 Taboo Tuesday is the one that I'm thinking of where it was Edge.
Comments
maybe
let
John
us know that.
I'm like 99.9 that it was 05. I'm gonna actually hang on. I can access this quick.
I see Sober in the chat saying it was Triple H.
Oh, okay.
I know he was
Yeah,
champion
Triple
a lot
H.
during the mid 2000s, wasn't he?
Yeah.
That is right.
Yeah, everybody's saying Triple H.
Wait, no, it's 05. It's the one where it's Cena, Angle, and Michaels in the triple threat. And the third was supposed to be Edge and not Shawn. So it's Cena, Angle, Michaels. It's 05.
Okay.
It's the one that I
Right.
was thinking of. That's similar where the vote, like, I think that's why they got rid of the voting. They're like, dang it, not getting the one we want.
I think they bring it back though, just one night a year. Like even if
Yeah.
it's not kayfabe or something, like
Oh,
do it in NXT just for the fun of it. But Clark, what is your final pick?
So for my final pick, this is tough. I'm gonna go with though, because we have yet to, I believe, on our lists have a women's title change.
That's a good point.
And I'm gonna go with one of the funkiest ones I've ever seen. It's a cool moment, but it does fit this list. Asuka just finds the title in the Money in the Bank briefcase, and it's all good. Becky's having a baby. Yeah, I was shocked. That's shocking.
And
Am I wrong?
An out there shout, isn't it?
It's out there, but I'm just saying.
But
It's
I mean,
just
a
in
lot
there.
of people are saying they forgot about it, that it was a funny segment. It was a shout. But
I mean,
oh my gosh. I make beat Stowell Shard.
yeah, he did. They've got
No,
him.
it's a show earlier today. Make sure and check that out.
Do check it out.
Link it in the. Oh, you can't actually. Don't think you can link it on
I don't
YouTube.
think you can.
Shout it out in the comments and we'll read it out. But up next, Takes. It is your final pick. What are you going to choose?
I'm going to choose the main event of WrestleMania 31, the heist of the century. Seth Rollins beating Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns in a triple threat, because we all thought it was going to be Roman Reigns, I think, going to be his moment, his first title. But no, they did a big swerve and Seth Rollins cashed in and became world champion.
It was a hell of a moment. There is no doubt about that. The heist of the century. A lot of people say this is one of their favorite championship wins, and I'm honestly one of them, because I don't even know how to explain it. Just the vibe coming out of that WrestleMania was like so positive, and so much like there was going to be a change surrounding it. It was incredible. But up next to end it, I am going to pick another one for the Intercontinental Championship. Clark, you mentioned Shelton Benjamin. Well, I'm going to mention somebody who debuted to defeat Umaga in 2007. Santino Marella winning the Intercontinental
Oh, that's a
Championship.
great call.
The Miracle of Milan, right?
That is a great call. The Miracle of Milan. Oh, yes.
Just wild.
Outstanding. Honestly, we did like the lists are good.
Yeah. Let's see if our comments think so.
I think so, dude. Like genuinely, we got some good ones in here.
I mean, Brandon likes the call, so does Brzezinski, and so does Skinny as well.